Hi, I'm here with Billericay Boy, who I've been told is also known to certain people as BeBe.
Correcto. Yeah, I'm Billericay Boy, but once you get to know me, you can call me BeBe. That's B with an E and a B and an E.
Very good, very good. So, can I call you BeBe?
Of course you can, darling.
Oh, that's fabulous. All right, darling. Let me ask you, BeBe, how did you get into the music industry? I mean, what was it that inspired you? How did you know that you wanted to do music and when?
Well, it all started off when I was about 6 years old, and my mum was called into the primary school, and my teacher had to have a chat with her, and she thought, oh God, I've done something bad. And my teacher was like, oh, your son's got a gift, he's got an amazing voice, he should be in like a choir. So I auditioned at a choir called Brentwood Cathedral, which is renowned in like the choral industry and classical industry, and basically got signed up with them and just started learning classical music up until the age of about 13, and then unfortunately like my voice broke. So by that time I moved from Brentwood into Westminster and got a scholarship where I was learning music, reading it and learning more about classical music. And then, like most teenagers at like 13 to 16, you just want to go out with your mates and just muck around. So I did that, and then when I left school I got more into it again, but I've decided to go into a pop genre.
Right, so, now before you went into that pop genre, while you were still doing classical, was there anybody that you aspired to in classical music? Anybody you wanted to be like?
Well, my mum always thought, when I first started, she thought I could be like the next Pavarotti, the next Voice of an Angel, Charlotte Churchill version. But at the time, I was just young and I just really was a bit naive of it all, so I didn't really think much of it.
You don't look much like Pavarotti to
No,
me.
I don't. I'm definitely a lot skinnier than Pavarotti, but I do look after myself.
However, Pavarotti was absolutely wonderful.
Amazing, and he was just a phenomenon.
Right, well, so then you decided... So tell me, BeBe, when did you know then for sure that you wanted to do pop music? Because you write stuff as well, don't you?
Yeah, well, what happened was, obviously, when my vocal, like my voice dropped, and I was changing and stuff, I started going more into songwriting, and I started looking at artists in the industry that I wanted to write genres of music for, and I wanted my music to be like. So I started looking at like the Britney Spears and the sort of Justin Timberlakes and the Lady Gagas and all of that aspect, because that's what I found most interesting, was the electro-pop industry, you know, like the new Kylie sort of thing.
Yeah, wow, I love that.
Love her new music, it's amazing.
Now, I've been listening to some of your tracks. There's one track that I absolutely loved. It's called Sexual Soldier. It reminded me very much of a Cheryl Cole track.
Yeah, that track was actually inspired by a lot of Cheryl Cole's music. She brought in that whole military thing last year, and Cheryl Cole was just like, oh my god, I need to do something along that whole military symmetry aspect, and Sexual Soldier came apparent to me, started writing it, left it for a few weeks because personally for me as a songwriter, I can't always just concentrate on my music at the same time. I have to sometimes come back and forth from it.
So you flip from song to song, basically?
I do flip from song to song. Like I wrote another track which is inspired a bit like Britney Spears when she released 3, and I sort of based a track along that, and I started picking up melodies and lyrics to that, and so then I went back onto Sexual Soldier and not what. I don't like to stay completely on one thing for the whole time. I like to sort of flutter.
Right, well, can I ask you a question then? Talking about staying on one thing, you've been in your sunglasses now. Could you take them off for me? So
I will take them off. I must just say, I am hungover. I did go out last night, so it was just a bit of a wild one, but I will take them off as you've asked so nicely.
Thank you very much.
But I do have loads of sunglasses.
Well, you don't look too bad to me. You look really fab. Now, let me ask you something. I saw you recently on a TV show called Must Be the Music.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about that. That's interesting.
It was just a whole last-minute thing. I found out about the audition. I was 2 hours late for the audition. I finally turned up. Luckily, I was one of the selected few. that got to sing in front of Jamie Cullum, Dizzy Rascal and Charlene Spiteri.
Wow, Dizzy Rascal, he must have loved you.
Not quite. He thought I was quite flamboyant, which is he's fair enough, and he's entitled to his opinion. Personally, I was more sort of interested in the opinions of Charlene Spiteri and Jamie Cullum, because I personally find them amazing artists, songwriters and vocally. They're just amazing, and I particularly don't really listen to the Dizzy Rascal sort of genre.
Although, when I watched the programme, Dizzy did actually make quite a nice comment about your music. He actually said it was one of the best pop songs he'd heard on the show.
Yeah, he said it was one of the best pop songs on the show, and Charlene Spiteri said it was one of the best lyrically chosen tracks that I've done. And Jamie Cullum, he kept on bobbing his head about, and
he loved it.
He really liked it. So, you know, at the end of the day, I wasn't, you know, I wasn't expecting to get onto the show, and the short press attention that I have had has been amazing. I've had some really great feedback from everyone.
Well, it obviously affected your website. So, obviously, the TV appearance must have affected your website, because I noticed you've got like nearly, I think it's 360,000 hits on your website. Now, you've done a couple of TV things in a short space of time. I mean, I saw you on Must Be the Music, and then I saw a glimpse of you on the Pineapple Dance Studios.
Yeah.
How was that? I mean, you was really horrible to one of the people on that show.
Yeah, she's called Trisha Welsh-Smith.
That's right.
I mean, I'm not going to waste my time or energy talking about her, to be quite honest, but let's just say she's a 50-something-year-old mutton dressed as lamb who really can't sing for shit.
Well, that's quite plain. I'll accept that.
Yeah,
your answer.
You know, obviously I couldn't understand, but you know, why someone like her would even waste like mine or her own time trying to get up on the stage and
What
perform.
about Louis? What did you think about Louis?
Louis, you've got to love a bit of Louis Spence. You know, he's not to everyone's cup of tea, but I can understand exactly where he's coming from, because I know that I'm not exactly everyone's cup of tea. I'm a bit like Marmite, just a bit like Louis Spence. You either love me or hate me.
But well, I love you.
Thank you, Gorge.
Now, another TV show you did, which I found really, really, really strange for you to do, you actually had a tattoo done on your bum. Did you not?
I have, yeah. Well, actually, I've got two tattoos. I was on a tattoo show. It was Jodie Marsh's Tattoo Apprentice, and basically it says it for itself. She's training to be a tattooist, and she's a friend of mine.
And you let her use your bottom?
I let her use my bum, yeah. She used my bum. Yeah, she basically put her personal stamp of her lip print on my bum, and she also done a personal favour for me as well, where she put the title of my ballad of my album Closure on my wrist. So
that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Right, so let me ask you. That's all about your music and your TV. Now, a little birdie told me that you want to do TV presenting yourself.
Yeah.
So would you see yourself as kind of an interviewer, like I'm interviewing now?
Yeah, I would see myself as an interviewer. I'm definitely not one to be in the background, as a lot of people know. I'm very upfront and honest, and I like to basically get to the root of everything, so I'm a bit nosy in that sort of respect, so I like to ask a good old question or two, quite controversial ones of course.
So if I ask you this question, BeBe, who would you really love to interview more than anybody in the world, and why?
I don't think there's a particular one. I mean, I love all the old schools. Like, not only do I listen to current artists, I love all the old school artists like Prince and Boy George and, you know, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and I love all the show business of like Cilla Black and...
You love the glitter and
yeah, I love all that old school and like Lulu and stuff. So I think like really they've got a lot more to offer, because I reckon, like, back then, fame, I think, was a lot more glamorous, and the celebrity era back then was a lot more glamorous and showbiz, and...
Yes, I agree with you.
And I'd like to interview, like, the old stars.
So, if I could get Boy George to agree to an interview with you, what would be the most important question for you? I mean, basically, what would you ask him?
How he applies his eyelashes, because I tell you what, I cannot apply mine properly. So that would be the first thing. But not only that, just how he's managed to deal with his fame and the bad and the good press that he's been through, and his talent in songwriting. I think that in itself. But I would really like to ask him more on his personal life as well, because I don't think really the public have got to see enough of his personal life. And obviously, what of him being single and he's like an older age now, it must be, you know, the prices of fame.
Do you think he might be lonely?
Maybe so. I mean, I wouldn't want to be 40-something and single, but, you know, some people are happy like that, and, you know, some people don't find their life partner until a later age. So, and obviously having that sort of fame, like Boy George has had, good, bad press and bad press, you know, I think he needs to be seen in a more of a serious light, and I think he needs, like, that time to come across on camera to actually tell the truth and let people know about him.
We're nearly sort of closing up now. I'd love to wish you all the best, obviously, in your career, and obviously thank you for taking time out of your recording schedule to speak to me. But one thing I'd like to ask you is, where do you actually see yourself this time next year?
This time next year, well, loads of things are going on. Like, I'm still finishing the album, still much very electro-pop like genre that I'm doing. It's all current. So the album is practically finished, and then I want to concentrate more on my TV. So I have been having some interviews and some meetings with various TV people, and hopefully you'll see me on a TV screen soon.
And finally, going back to your website, which is www.billericayboy.com, going back to those 360,000 hits you've had, obviously you've got a lot of fans. Finally, the last word from you, BeBe. Do you have a message for your fans?
The only message that I've got is thank you for your overwhelming support. It's made me realise, even more so, that I'm doing the right thing. I'm obviously hitting home to a lot of people that understand and feel what I've been going through in my music and my look. And so all I can say is thank you so much. I love you all, and welcome into BeBe's bubble.